It is Last Call Sunday. I'm the prop queen, Ariel Epstein, taking you through the next about 45 minutes to an hour, getting you all you need to know going into this Sunday slate of Week 6 of the NFL. We've got great guests as always. Every week we are joined by Yanni the Greek live from Las Vegas, breaking down all the sharp groups, actions. What do you want to be on their side? It's probably the right move. But we know the side that you want to be on. And that's John Murray of the Westgate, the Superbook. He's coming on, does every Sunday. We discuss what the book needs for the upcoming week. And I know that my group chat and my friends, they all need to know the needs. And last but certainly not least, Jesse Schule going to join the show and we'll talk some NFL best bets. And I've got some props as well going down the board of the 1 o'clock slate. We've got the Broncos up 10-6 over the Jets in London at halftime. If you forgot, yes, that game started at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. And again, remember, if you have any questions and you want to talk to our WagerTalk handicappers, make sure to drop any comments in the section, in the comment section. We are going to interact. Any questions you have, I'll definitely make sure to be asking Yanni the Greek and Jesse Schule any of the questions that you guys have for the upcoming slate. And again, have your Odds Logic screen ready to go. It's oddslogic.com/propqueen. And make sure that you can see where all the lines started and they moved from open to close, where they're moving towards. If you could get the best line at certain books, it's created by Don Best and Sports Option Guys. So it's really good. Real-time odds screen. Make sure to check that out. It's oddslogic.com/propqueen. Love that everyone's already writing in the chat. Happy Sunday to everybody. I'm looking to see so far. Everyone but Yankees fans. It's over, bro. RJ Harvey props for Jesse. He said he's sweating out right now. We can talk about that in a little bit. Puka props over 100 yards. You guys are coming at my Ravens today. Like, what is going on? Gosh, Yankees, Ravens. Like, the Yankee season's over. The Ravens, we know that we suck until Lamar at least comes back after the bye. I still don't know why Cooper Rush is starting for the Ravens instead of Tyler Huntley. I don't know why any of my coaches make any of these bad decisions. I guess we're not the Jets. I guess that's like the only silver lining. Sorry, all you Jets fans. This is just brutal. You're down 10-6 at the half. And I'm sure Yanni the Greek had some live action come in early this morning on this London game because, of course, sharps love to bet the ugliest games on the board, this being one of them. Yanni the Greek joining the show now. You changed it up. No Phillies anymore now that the season's over. You're a Dodgers guy now.
Right away. You know, I'm ready to jump ships. I'm a gambler. I'll jump ship next day. The following day.
Do you like the Dodgers now?
Zero loyalty. Only loyalties to my pocket, my bankroll. That's it.
So are you like you're on the Dodgers bandwagon?
No. I'm on Seattle. Oh,
good. Okay, I love that. I wanted anyone who won that game between the Mariners and Tigers to win the World Series.
I just want to share real quickly because there's this game I know people are watching. I'm on the Jets. I have the Jets plus 7.5 as a big bet. I just took the Jets plus 3.5 in the second half. I just took under 13 team total for Denver. I bet that 3 different places. I can't give it to subscribers because, you know, that second half stuff, time sensitive stuff, can't use it. But I just blasted plus 3.5 on the Jets in the second half. I just blasted the under 13 in the second half. So you're not going to find 13. You'll be lucky to find 10.5 now. And we had Justin Fields under 44.5 rushing yards also. So, yeah, we bet that early game for sure. Yeah, I don't like those early games either. But
there's such variance with going to London and being in an international game. You always feel like they're low scoring. But, of course, the one time that you probably bet an under, it ends up going over. But this game, Broncos-Jets, it's an absolute mess. And the Jets did force a turnover. But, Yanni, what made you like the Jets this week?
I didn't think it was a good spot for the Broncos. I just thought they're giving way too many points. They've played some good games. They're coming off 3 straight covers. I thought there's a little recency bias there. Let's not forget, it's a team that was barely a 2-point favorite against the Giants. You know what I mean? They were big. Oh, forgive me. Wait, let me pull this up. Sorry. My power rating had them way lower, and the recency bias of them coming off a big win against Philadelphia as 4-point dogs, now having to fly over to England, having to play the Jets at nothing to get excited about. It's not like it's a divisional game. And I just thought that was just a little bit too many points. 7 and a hook got me on that. But again, we'll see how that turns out.
The chat's already hating on my Ravens. I don't blame them. They suck.
I like the Ravens. I took 8 with the Ravens.
I feel like
Listen to me clearly. Listen to me
Rams.
carefully about your Ravens. Whether they lose by 40 today, this is a great spot to take Baltimore. A great spot. You have Cooper Rush, who's coming off a game where he had a 58 QBR. Just look at what he's done throughout his career. He's not a below 60 QBR guy. I'm not telling you he's the next Tom Brady, but he could only progress towards his mean, and his mean's better than what we saw with those 3 interceptions. So I have that going for me. I have a Baltimore team that continues to get dropped in the power ratings, but like usual, the public overreacts to what we saw last. Ariel, it was just 3 weeks ago that we were arguing this is the best team in the NFL. They were 1-2. I think, and we were still saying on paper, they're favored over everyone on the neutral field. I understand the defense has a lot of holes. They're 32nd in efficiency. I get it, but there's only one way to move from there, and that's up. That's the thing you also got to factor in. And I just think at home, if this franchise has any pride after the way they played last week, they're not going to make it easy on the Rams. They're not going to make it easy on them, who are traveling cross country, playing out of conference, and a hungry Baltimore team. I get it. Maybe they gave up on the coach. Maybe they gave up on the year, right? But that's still a lot of points to be given one of the strongest home field advantages in all of the NFL.
Yeah, well, I hope they come out and play with some heart because it looks like they haven't recently. Speaking of injuries, the Arizona Cardinals have a ton of them, including their quarterback, Kyler Murray. The line was 6.5, 7. Now we're seeing 9.5. The Cardinals catching points against those Colts. Again, we keep waiting for Daniel Jones and the Colts to regress back to the mean, but the numbers keeps moving in their favor, Yanni. Is it too much?
Yeah, we thought that was coming. Talked about it earlier in the week on Bet On It. When is the teaser protection coming? Because Indianapolis will be one of the most one-sided bet games of the year. They're tied into every parlay. They're tied into every teaser, money line parlays. So there's a lot of risk on Indianapolis. The question was, when are they going to 9.5? The fact that the books weren't there yet and they were willing to take that action is a telling sign that that was an inflated price we were already looking at with the Indianapolis side. And let's not forget, the look ahead was like 3.5. So there was already a big adjustment off the look ahead based on recency bias and Kyler Murray not being 100%. Once confirmed, obviously, the market reacted. I think this line's way too high. I thought it was way too high before the adjustment. I think it's way too high after the adjustment. I think there's only one way you could bet this now. It's either Arizona or pass. You can't take Indianapolis right now. What were you waiting for? You could have bet it this time last week at -3, 3.5. You could have bet it 5-6 days ago at -6.5, 7. You could have bet it 2 days ago at -7, 7.5, 8. Why would you want to lay 9 today? 9.5. It makes absolutely no sense. You're not going to make money betting sports that way. Again, Indy could go out there and win this game by 40 points. It's still a terrible bet. And if you want to make money betting sports, your only goal is placing good bets. Forget the outcome. You can't control it. You can't control interceptions. You can't control fumbles when they fall on the ground. You can't control a blown call. You can't control none of that. But can you place good bets? And if you took Indianapolis at -6, 7, 7.5, 8 even, you placed a good bet. You did your job. But if you're taking Indianapolis -9, 9.5, you're doing a terrible job. That's not how this works. And whether they win today or not, it's irrelevant. Your book's going to end up with your money with that, approach.
Speaking of lines that move,
sometimes got to give some tough love because I love the people. They're up.
They need tough love. It's okay. Speaking of lines that moved, Gianni, the Jacksonville Jaguars were -1.5 at home against the Seattle Seahawks, and now we're seeing this line go Jaguars +1.5 on the live line. The current markets. What did you see in this Seattle-Jacksonville game?
Well, here's the thing. Darnold right now is top 5 in passing success rate. Number 1, no surprise, Daniel Jones. Goff, number 3, Mac Jones, number 4. Like these guys that are up there, and I talk about it all the time, passing success rate, one of the highest correlations to winning in the NFL. No surprise. So that obviously gives them the advantage. But when I look at Seattle, I don't think this is a bad spot for them because I mean, for what's it called? Jacksonville. I get it. They're coming off a big Monday night game where they got a nice win. And I think many expect this to be like a letdown spot. I'm not too sure of that. I'm not too sure Seattle should be going into Jacksonville favored right now. I get it. Jacksonville's offense not playing all that well. Trevor Lawrence down near the bottom when it comes to passing success rate. So I don't like that. That's what's kept me off the game. But I'm fighting it hard not to bet Jacksonville because I really don't think they should be an underdog in this spot. Like it would be a fade of Seattle more than a bet on Jacksonville, where I don't think Seattle should be this road favorite. I know they're 2-0 on the road. That's not going to continue. That has to do with strength of schedule more than anything else. So I like Jacksonville. I just haven't been able to get to the window with them.
Another early game, Chargers-Dolphins. Chargers are looking like a much better team than Miami, yet they're only laying 3.5. I know they're on the road, LA, but you're still getting a terrible Miami defense. I saw in the chat people asking about this one. Is minus 3.5 kind of fishy for LA?
Well, the Chargers need this game. They've had a bad, tough schedule, the way they're flying all over the place. But this is almost a must win for them. Another team where just
must win by 4.
2 weeks ago, we were saying just how good they are. Like I have a future on them, so I'm biased towards the Chargers. I think this line's about a half point to a point too high. I think 3 should be the absolute most that they should be favored here. That's why gun the head, I'm taking Miami with the points. If I have to, I do. I think Miami with the points is how I would play it. Because let's not forget, Miami's played some pretty close games. Even with Buffalo, they covered that game, getting double digits. At Carolina, it was a field goal game. Other than getting blown out by Indianapolis, they've played relatively well. And you want to play Miami. If you're going to bet Miami, it's a team you want to bet as an underdog. You know what I mean? It's not a team you want to bet as a favorite. This is kind of the spot you want to take them. At home, catching points. Their splits as obvious as it gets. They're a team that's 0-3 on the road, 1-1 at home. So obviously their home field advantage matters to this team. I like Miami or pass.
A game that intrigues me a lot today, Yanni, and it's coming up in the 4 p.m. Eastern time window, 49ers and Bucks. So the 49ers are catching 3.5 on the road in Tampa. Tons of injuries again. No Brock Purdy under center for San Francisco. Mac Jones even looked banged up his last start. The Bucks are without some wide receivers. I mean, there is a ton of injuries on both sides. Is it tempting to take 3.5, or you think that's a little public for San Fran?
One of the groups I work with, I laid the points for them. I laid Tampa Bay when that line opened. I didn't release it to my subscribers. I didn't love the game. It's so impressive what San Francisco's doing. They have 2 quarterbacks that are in the top 5 in passing success rate. You have Purdy at number 2 and Mac Jones at number 4. That's very, very impressive on the San Francisco side. I'm afraid to fade that when you have a backup playing that well. And usually the market overreacts that the drop-off is worth more than it is. So I know the sharp side's Tampa Bay, but I think that's at less than 3. You know what I mean? Now that you're talking about a field goal and higher, I think it's a dog or pass situation unless you got down early on Tampa Bay. Because again, Tampa's the sharp side. And I have Tampa winning this game. I made on, what did I make Tampa? About a 2-point favorite. So I thought the line's a little bit too high. So I think it's a dog or pass situation right now, but not a game I'm on.
There's an AFC North rivalry game. Steelers-Browns. Browns elected not to have that bye after going to London last week. They lost to the Vikings in London. Now you have to come back. There's a really tough divisional rival in the Steelers. It's 5.5-point spread. What do you see in that game?
Talk about another sharp play that's public side, and that's the Steelers, just like Tampa Bay. Sharps came in, laid the 5.5 with Pittsburgh. That's why we're looking now at 6. A little bit surprising that you have the public and the sharps on the same side, and yet we're not at a touchdown yet To me, that's a telling sign. Like that's sirens are going off. Red flags are everywhere. What's wrong with Pittsburgh? Why is this not at 7? So what do? I go over, I click my odds logic screen, I hit the sharpest books and I say, wait, did they go to 6.5 or 7? And if they did anyone pick it off? That's what you want to look at. Nope, they never did. They never got to 7. So then I look at my square books. Did they get to 7? Did that get picked off? Nope, that didn't happen either. So why is this not budged above that 6? I don't know. With all the one-sided money that's coming in on Pittsburgh, just reading the market, forget the handicap, it tells me not only is Cleveland plus the points the side, but you probably want to sprinkle a little something on that Cleveland plus the points, that 1-4 Cleveland team.
Before I let you go, and I asked all my questions, even though I guess I do have one more, and then I'll get to what else you saw on the board. But Kelly just sent me the Superbook contest, and the number 1 pick against the spread this week was the Kansas City Chiefs.
Ooh, reverse. People are doing the reverse psychology now here. Oh, that's all that is. That's a read. What was the line on the Super contest?
I think it was, let me double check it real quick.
Yeah, because that'll matter. That's important.
2.5.
2.5?
And it's down to 1.5 now.
So I was like, okay, maybe they're betting a stale number. You know what I mean? Maybe it's a 1. Maybe it's a pick 'em.
Nope,
No,
2.5.
they like Kansas City. That's what I thought was going to happen because we all start to play like psychic. And we all start to think, what does Vegas know? What's going on? Are they setting traps? Dude, I'll say it again, and I get it. We all like that information. What does the book need? What is this? What is all the public on? What? At the end of the day, the book doesn't really need anything. Right now, I'm watching the back end, and I swear to you, Ariel, a guy just bought 1.5 on an NFL total. He laid like 150 to go under 45 instead of going under 43.5. So he thinks this is what his reasoning is. At minus 110, we think that's a 52.5% chance. At minus 150, we think it's a 60% chance. So if he took a step back, what he's saying, he doesn't believe that there's greater than a 52% chance that this stays under 43.5. But he does think there's a 60% chance it stays under 45. So he's not 53% that it'll stay under 43.5, but at 45, he's 60% sure. Like, in what universe does that make sense? That you don't think it has a 52% chance of staying under 43.5, but now at 45, you think it's a 60% chance that you're willing to pay it. When bettors are placing bets like that, you really don't need to do much except take the action, book the action. That's usually what it comes down to with the books. Like, I know everybody loves what does the book need, but they really don't need much. At that game, I'm interested to see what happens. Does the Detroit money come in? Because all the sharps are going to tease Detroit. They're going to say they're going to come in. They're going to take Detroit up to 8.5. They're going through 3, 6, 7. So the books already know that's going to happen. What are they going to set themselves
at first,
up for?
that's why I was nervous about the Lions, because if they weren't going to move it off 2.5, which they did to 1.5, but if they weren't going to, then I was very curious about, okay, does the book not care then that they're going to get all these teasers on the Lions? Clearly they did end up caring. So it's a good sign for Detroit that they moved the line to 1.5, not just because, of course, it moved in their favor, but because they are doing teaser protection.
Listen, I agree. The game has me stumped. I haven't released anything. I haven't bet it. It's like,
what do you like today, Yanni? What do the groups like today?
I think the psychology is that, wait, why is Kansas City favored? Detroit's the better team. You know what I mean? And I think they're thinking too deep, that Vegas knows something. What are we on today? Let me give you a couple totals. I'll give you a few totals that I released. Cincinnati, Green Bay, I went under 45. Arizona, Indianapolis, we went under 47. And then the last one was Rams, Baltimore. Rams, Baltimore, under 45. So there's 3 totals for you. All premium plays, 3% plays for you. Under 45, Cincinnati. Under 47, Arizona. Under 45 in Baltimore Rams. 3-0 or 2-1 at worst.
Ooh, okay. I like it. Trying to think. Oh, baseball. That's what I wanted to ask you. Baseball. What do you got?
I'm a little biased, obviously.
What?
I'm a Seattle. I need Seattle.
Seattle futures.
Yeah, because of my future, I'm biased on the Seattle side. I need Seattle. Let me see if I have anything though for you before you go on that game. Like if something sticks out in the series or no. See, they're not betting anything yet, man. All the attention's on freaking football. Till the game gets closer, it's all on football. But I need Seattle to steal game one. If they steal game one, I'm comfortable they'll win this series. I need Seattle today, so I'm cheering Seattle in hard today.
And by the way, guys, he's saying Seattle.
That's why I hate being a fan. That's why I don't like that feeling. I like to bet it and not even watch it.
I like we're on the same side though. I do like Seattle too. I like Seattle. Monday Night Football game thoughts before we get to John Murray.
Real quick, this is a huge Monday night game for Atlanta. They haven't had one there for a couple of years. They're coming off a bye week. Like, if this team has anything, they need to show up tomorrow. They need to show up and at least cover that number. But where I think there's some value that jumped off the board at me was the Chicago Bears. They're playing good, man. They're coming off. I get it.
And this is a revenge game.
It was Dallas and the Raiders, not good teams, but the market had it at coin flip games. You know what I mean? And they end up beating Dallas by more than 2 touchdowns. They get a tough win against a bad Raiders team. I think there's a little recency bias there. And you have Washington returning home where they've crushed it. They've outscored their opponents. If you look at their point differential at home, that's the reason this line's as high as it is. I don't think it should be more than a field goal. Again, they don't have a 3-point home field advantage. So there's no way this line should be above 3. On a neutral field, I don't think Washington's that much better. So, yeah, I like Chicago tomorrow. Right now, I like Chicago. I haven't bet it, haven't released it, but right now, Chicago's sticking out. Don't want to pay myself in the corner.
They lost on like a last-second play to Washington the last time out, and you had to imagine that Caleb Williams is thinking about it. Yanni, what are you promoting today?
All right, my package is up there. The Sunday card, handful of 4% plays, 3% plays, still always top 3 in profit. NFL regular season, coming off my first losing week. I had 7 straight winning weeks in college football. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Lost about 8, 9 units yesterday, but we're still up close to 100 for the year. So looking for a bounce back day. We're going to do it in the NFL today. Head on over. Steam Room Talk starts in about 40 minutes. So let's do some damage. Good luck to you too, Ariel. Go Ravens. Go Ravens.
Go Ravens. Thanks, Yanni. And make sure to catch him at Greek_Gambler. We've got John Murray joining the show. We've got Jesse Schule coming up after JM. So let's bring on the guy from Las Vegas who's over at the Superbook at the Westgate, my great friend, John Murray. Happy Sunday.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
I'll let you know in about 4 hours. I hope.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's get right into it because we're going to need the same side as you this morning. We need the Ravens big.
You do?
Right. Of course. Ooh. And it's interesting how much things can change in the NFL. Because who would have thought that on week 6 we'd be sitting here and we need the Ravens as a touchdown
Is that like the biggest
dog.
Need of the day?
I think it's the biggest need of the 10 a.m.s. No, Carolina. Carolina's the biggest need at 10 a.m., but the Ravens are right there just behind them. 7-point dog at home in week 6. That's why, I always, I always tease your friend at Kelly in Vegas on Twitter when she's mapping Survivor and she's like, oh, in week 10, we'll need to do this. You don't know that in the NFL.
No.
We never would have believed that we would need Baltimore as a 7-point dog in Baltimore.
I couldn't tell you last time Baltimore was a 7-point dog at home.
I can't even remember. Probably before you were born. It's been a long time.
Well, there were some bad years. We did have some, but their defense always typically keeps them in games, which is not the case these days.
No,
I kind of like Carolina today, though. I know it's an ugly side, but that Dallas D has been terrible.
It has, and I think Bryce Young has shown some signs of life. We need Carolina, and then the other one will need the morning games are awful. Good God.
Awful.
Terrible games. We'll need New Orleans at home against New England. New England, a 3-point favorite in that game. We need the Saints. So some really, really ugly underdogs that we need this morning here in the NFL.
Ooh, okay. So Ravens, Panthers, Saints is who you guys need. I feel like you guys have needed the Saints every week this season.
And the Panthers every week for as long as I can remember. Yeah, pretty much.
Really ugly.
So we got some rough ones. It looks like the afternoon right now we need we need Tampa. We've taken a lot of money on San Francisco in that game. I think that might change, though. I wouldn't be surprised if that changes a little bit. I think money will come back the other way. We don't really have a big need in the Bengal game right now. Bengals Packers is pretty even. There is another one in the morning we need. This will be fun. Arizona.
You need Arizona. Of course you need it. But
we
what
need
number do you
Arizona.
need Arizona at?
At 7, at +7, because the big money came in -7 on
Right.
Indianapolis. Arizona and their height challenged quarterback Kyler Murray's not playing today, I think. So they got the backup. And their backup Jacoby Brissett, Ariel, is that correct? Check your notes. I have no idea. I'm just guessing, but
I think you're right, which is kind of funny because, yeah, it is. And that's kind of a revenge game for him in Indy.
Well, he's played for every team in the league. So, I'd say that I think that, yes, pretty much every time the guy takes the field, he's got revenge on his mind.
Well, I saw this stat also. Speaking of that, Adam Schefter tweeted in regards to Joe Flacco, who's starting for the Bengals today. No quarterback in the Super Bowl era ever has started and won against the same opponent while playing for different teams in the same season. Joe Flacco started for the Browns, beat the Packers week 3, and now faces Green Bay again.
What does it say about the Bengals quarterback room that they can trade for a guy on Monday and just be like, okay, you're starting this week? Like they don't.
I guess it means that your offensive scheme is pretty easy.
That's pretty bad. I mean, I'm guessing Zach Taylor's
just
offense.
Throw to Jamar Chase.
He's good. Apparently, Zach Taylor's offense isn't too complicated if you can just start 5 days after being traded to the team. Green Bay's defense is pretty good. Green Bay's off a bye week. It's talk about a tall task for Joe Flacco today.
I also saw, because our friend Kelly in Vegas sent into the chat, that the Kansas City Chiefs were the #1 pick for the Super Contest.
Yeah, I think that will be the most bet game of the day. I'm not breaking any ground there, but I will tell you Detroit is a very popular underdog play tonight. So Detroit right now, Detroit's getting more than twice as many tickets as Kansas City. And I think we did see one sharp account take Kansas City -2. Detroit's got a lot of guys hurt in their secondary going into tonight's game. So we'll see if the Chiefs can take advantage of that. But there are a lot of defensive injuries for the Lions.
Well, it scares me because early this week, I really liked Kansas City, even laying the 2.5. But then I saw the Super Contest that everyone's on them. But then you're telling me that outside of the Super Contest, which is even more public, would be the bet slips. So the public is on the Lions?
The public's on the Lions for sure here at the Superbook, yes. But why does it scare you? You can just watch baseball tonight. You're free.
I'm going to be watching baseball tonight.
You don't have to watch this game. You can just watch baseball, the American League Championship Series. I'm
really excited for it because after that Seattle and Detroit game, I said this to Yanni, I'll say it to you. I was rooting for whoever won that game 5 to win the World Series. So now I'm a Seattle Mariners fan.
Well, we got rid of our biggest liability in the future book. We got rid of it last night. Chicago lost to Milwaukee. We need Seattle big here in game 1 today. We've taken a lot of money on Toronto already. We need this. We need the Mariners. We actually do okay on the Dodgers in the future book. So shout out to our guys. Usually the Dodgers are a team we're just buried on. And this year we're doing fine. So we don't really have a major concern in the futures market here at going into the Final Four of baseball. We're just going to take this game by game, and we're rooting for Seattle big time in game 1 tonight in Toronto.
Oh, in game 1, not for the World Series?
No, I'm talking about in game 1.
Wow.
Game 1. Yeah, just to clarify that. We've taken a lot of money on the Blue Jays. We need the Mariners tonight.
I love that. Okay, then I'll go bet the Mariners tonight in some capacity. I'm just trying to see what that line is right now. Seattle is +136 up against Kevin Gossman and the Toronto Blue Jays. Bryce Miller on the mound for Seattle. Oof.
For how long though? Isn't it interesting now? These pitchers pitch like 1 or 2 innings and then they come out of these playoff games. We've had to redo the way, or just totally redo the way we do pitching props in the baseball playoffs, or just not even do them. Because these guys, they pitch like an inning and then they're out of the game.
I had Skubal over 19.5 outs, and granted it would have been close, but he should have come in at 100 pitches.
Well, I thought it was crazy, not to go off too much, but I thought it was crazy that Detroit pulled Skubal and I understand why everybody was talking about that. I thought it was almost as crazy that Seattle pulled Kirby out of that game.
Me
He was
too. He was
mowing them down. I mean, he looked awesome in that game.
He looked great.
I can't believe either team went to the bullpen.
These managers are stupid.
I think they get bored. I think
They
they're
just
bored.
need to, like the umps and the refs.
Yeah, like I got to do something. I'll just pull my ace pitcher out of the game just to
Right,
show
like the
everybody
refs,
that-
like, oh, I haven't thrown a flag in a while. Let me throw this PI.
well, the refs throw plenty of flags in your league here. Really,
Your
it's
league.
ugly.
The chat wants to know your thoughts on the Chargers game today.
Chargers and the Dolphins early game. I mean, we've taken a lot of money on Miami and the points, and we did take some very sharp money on the under in that game. Under 44.5 in that game. So it looks like we're actually going to need the Chargers for now, which is kind of surprising. We've taken some bigger tickets on the Dolphins +4. So Chargers are in a tough spot. You know, they've got both of those offensive tackles out of the lineup, and it's making obviously a huge difference. Maybe it's too much for them to overcome. They lost Slater in the preseason. Now Alt is also hurt. That might be too much for their offense to overcome.
Interesting there. I'm shocked that you on Miami there. There was one other thing I saw in the chat. Oh no, someone asked. Yeah, there we go. The over-unders. What are the public bets as far as totals?
Good question. Let's see here. They're betting there's a lot of money on the over in the Bengals game, which is kind of interesting when you have Joe Flacco and going up against a great Green Bay
Which
defense.
is funny. Yanni just gave out that under 45.
Good. Hope he's right. And then there's a lot of money on the over in the Arizona game. Arizona at Indianapolis.
He just gave out that under as well.
Great. What in the world was Arizona doing last Sunday? I mean, I've had to sit through so many NFL games in my storied career here, Ariel. I've had to suffer through all these games. I don't think I've ever seen a team do more to lose an NFL game than Arizona did last week. I don't recall ever seeing anything like that.
I'll be honest, I don't remember.
Good.
Which is so bad. I don't remember. What was I doing last week? I don't even know. I think I was at my parents' house watching on like 80 TVs when a guy tweeted at me that a girl could never understand what it's like to watch that many TVs, and I went up to him with like 2 extras. So
a girl can never understand what it's like to watch a lot of TVs. What does that mean?
Like in football, with football games on it. I know.
Well, I got like 12 TVs in my office. You're welcome to come watch football in here anytime you're in town.
It's probably a lot more fun to watch in your office than to watch with Kelly in the big room, but you know.
You don't want to watch with Kelly.
No.
Kelly is just going to be a nightmare to deal with, right? No, that sounds terrible. I would not want to do that.
No. Like after the Super Bowl. Flacco isn't beating the Packers twice in one season because he did it with the Browns. So now they don't believe in Flacco.
Well, they are a 14-point underdog. They are 8-1 on the money line here at the Superbook. So I think that is probably correct. But you never know. You never really know in the NFL. What if one of the Green Bay players decides, hey, I'm walking into the end zone untouched. I'm just going to drop the ball here at the 1-yard line. And then the
second time this year.
Oh, that happens. That you never really know. That's what makes my job so easy. You know.
Dumb plays. Dumb plays.
Yeah, well, that was pretty dumb. That's other.
What about your Commanders on Monday Night Football against the Bears?
Yeah, this would be a good thing for me to complain about. I don't like when they do the 2 Monday night games like at the same time, essentially playing the games at the same time. I much prefer the true doubleheaders like we get next Monday night. But I will say that we have good volume on both of these games. We've taken a lot of money on Atlanta +4. I think by the time the game kicks off, we'll need Atlanta because there will be money line parlays. It'll go to Buffalo, probably end with Buffalo. But right now we need the Bills for a little bit. A lot of money on the Commanders, the Commandos. They're -4.5. Chicago is off a bye week. I think Chicago might be a little better than we realize, than we think they are.
Yeah.
And that should be a pretty interesting game. The 2 first picks from the draft 2 years ago. My guy, Caleb Williams from Gonzaga College High School in Washington, D.C. And Jaden Daniels is awesome. So that's a fun game.
That should be a fun game. Should be a good Monday Night Football slate, even if you have to watch two at the same time. John Murray, thank you for coming on as always here from the Westgate Superbook. We love you. We love your insights, and we hope that you guys win because we'll be on the same side as you.
Thanks for having me on. Thank you for rooting for the underdog, the scrappy underdog, the Sportsbook.
Yes, and the Seattle Mariners. Go Mariners.
Yes, go Mariners.
See you, John.
Yep.
Coming up now, we've got one more guest. I'll give you props after. And first, I know he's sweating out his props today in this London game. That's how insane he is. Jesse Schule joining the show. What's up, Jesse?
Yeah, I guess the early game isn't that early for me. It's a 7:30 p.m. kickoff for me here where I am.
Where are you again?
Chiang Mai, Thailand.
Oh, my goodness. That's crazy. Well, it's early here. It's 9:30 here on the East Coast. Well, now it's 11:30, but it started at 9:30. Denver up 10-9. We've got about 5 minutes left in the third quarter. What were you sweating out in this one?
I got RJ Harvey rushing yards. I got RJ Harvey rushing and receiving yards. And I got RJ Harvey at a big price to get an anytime touchdown for a very small wager. But I need some scoring from Denver real quick so that I was expecting to get this in mop-up time, right? And they won't be mopping up unless they're winning, and the margin's getting pretty slim right now.
Yeah, close game. Jets just also went up 11-10. I think they just had a safety, so that's crazy. But, of course, that would happen in London. Jesse, we've got games coming up in an hour and a half. What do you like so far for the 1 o'clock slate? Well, the East Coast, 1 o'clock.
I'm a little bit interested by that Carolina hosting the Dallas Cowboys. It's a Rico Dowdle revenge game, I guess. Mm-hmm. And the guy went off for 200 yards last week. Now he's facing a Cowboys defense that just doesn't show up these days. I can't believe
they're
Carolina
bad against pass catching backs.
Yeah, and Carolina's 2-0 at home, 0-3 on the road. Carolina's a dog. Looks like the wrong team favored to me.
Ooh, wrong team favored. Okay, so you're going to take points with Carolina, which is a side that John Murray just said they need over at the Westgate.
I like that one.
Okay, so that's an interesting play. I also like the over on Rico Dowdle receiving yards because revenge spot and the Cowboys are very bad against pass catching backs. And chat, you guys can ask some questions too. It's so funny getting so many questions about Monday Night Football, and we've still got an entire Sunday slate. I know it's not that intriguing of a slate. There's not that many great games. One game that we haven't talked too much about yet is the Patriots and the Saints. Did you see anything there?
Yeah, the Saints, they won that game last week. They needed 5 turnovers to do it against the Giants. They can't count on getting 5 turnovers very often. So, I mean, I'm really high on this Patriots team. I actually had them over Buffalo last week. And I said that the Patriots coming into Buffalo had the number 1 ranked pass defense in the NFL. 126 yards per game they were allowing before Patriots showed up. And that was 100 yards fewer than the previous season. I said, did they really get that much better, or was it a product of the quarterbacks they had faced? Because they'd faced Lamar, Justin Fields, Spencer Rattler. So, I mean, they hadn't really faced a quarterback of the caliber of Drake May. And sure enough, Patriots got it done. They have a stellar rushing defense. Drake May leads the NFL in completion percentage. It might sound square, but give me the Pats.
Ooh, okay. So you like the Pats in that spot. Arizona has had so many injuries. Kyler Murray officially inactive, just reported in the last few minutes. That line went from 6.5 to 7 to now 9.5. Thoughts on that number, Arizona, Indy?
Well, I heard what Gianni had to say, and I agree. I mean, the Colts were the play at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Anything higher than 7.5, and you miss the boat. But I'm not taking Arizona either. Speaking of Arizona, just one quick note: in a video I did a couple weeks back on Thursday Night Football when they played Seattle, I mentioned Kyler Murray carrying a couple purses, designer purses, into the stadium. And man, did the chat ever go off about that? People really didn't like my criticism of dudes carrying designer purses, but I'm 50 years old. You know, in my day, we didn't carry purses. I understand that most athletes carry them now, but I just thought it was a little bit funny.
Oh boy. So are we betting based on that now?
No, I think the criticism for mentioning it came because I forgot to say that the clip went viral because he had the two purses. The clip I saw on the internet was about the purses, but in the clip I had noticed his gut was kind of sticking out of his jeans a little bit, and he looked like he put on weight. And I mean, Kyler Murray is useless if he's not athletic, right? He got to the NFL through being an athletic quarterback, so he can't really afford to gain weight. And I thought that he appeared to have gained some weight. I forgot to mention that. I started talking about the purses, lost track of what I was saying. And then, I faced some criticism for talking about purses.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, let's not get criticized. We've got 4:00 slates as well here on the East Coast. So I know the San Francisco 49ers catching 33.5 in Tampa could look a little intriguing. What do you think on that game?
Well, I nailed Thursday Night Football last week with Mac Jones, Kendrick Bourne, and Jake Tonji's props. And I think you got to look that way again. I mean, why would we doubt Mac Jones? He fell out of favor in New England. He didn't have success until he landed in a good spot, and now he's in a good spot, and he's getting it done. And I know he was a little bit questionable, but he's going to start today. And all those guys should be producing again, especially with Pearsall out. I didn't get the update if the other starting receiver is going to play, but Kendrick Bourne, for me, interestingly enough, Kendrick Bourne had career highs in 2021 with the Patriots. That was Mac Jones at quarterback in his rookie year. I think Bourne had 55 catches for 800 yards, something along those lines. So not surprising seeing him thrive here with reunited with his old quarterback. And I'm not sure the markets have quite caught up to that.
So you like over receiving yards?
I do have a few props up on my page right now. And certainly Kendrick Bourne is amongst them, whether it's receiving yards, receptions, maybe an anytime touchdown. I don't have an anytime touchdown, but I like the receiving yards. I like the receptions as well.
What other props are you looking at for today? You know, that's my favorite thing.
Let's see. Did we talk about them all? I mean, I got the RJ Harvey. I got the San Francisco player props. The Rico Dowd. I didn't say that I was taking props in that game, but like you said, Dallas can't stop pass catching backs. Dowd takes over as RB1 with the injury to Chuba Hubbard, the Canadian. But and I mean, Dallas's defense has been really underwhelming so far. So I do like Rico Dowd props. Maybe even in anytime, as rare as I do bet on anytime touchdowns because they're not usually very good value. Minus 110 for his anytime touchdown. In a game where I'm expecting to see a lot of points scored, and I don't see anybody else on Carolina that's going to get those touchdowns. So Rico Dowd anytime touchdown looks good to me.
Jesse, what are you promoting today?
Well, I've got a dozen plays on the board. I got 3 plays in the ALCS and 9 plays in NFL, most of them props. But tomorrow night, I got my Monday Night Football 5% play. You don't want to miss that. I'm 40-14 with NFL. That's 74% since the beginning of last year's playoffs.
That's awesome. You're awesome. Thanks for joining us here on this Last Call Sunday. Good luck today, and I hope you cash those bets at the end of this London game.
Thanks for having me, Ariel.
See you, Jesse. I did give out on the PropQueen.com newsletter a bunch of props for the 1:00 slate for today. Earlier this week, I also on the newsletter at the PropQueen.com gave out Justin Herbert over 15.5 rushing yards. That's now up to 19.5, even 20.5 in some spots. He's averaging just under 31 rushing yards a game this year, getting a defense in Miami that's allowed the 4th most rushing yards per game to quarterbacks at just under 33. There's no running backs anymore for LA as Najee Harris and Marion Hampton are out. It's Hassan Haskins. So Justin Herbert might be able to run the football. Tight end for the Saints, Juwan Johnson over his longest reception at 16.5 yards. He's getting a defense in the Patriots that's allowed the 2nd most receiving yards per game to tight ends. And Juwan Johnson, has gone over his longest reception prop, averaging 21 yards per longest catch in the 8 games since last year against teams that struggle against tight ends. And I mentioned Rico Dowdle. I like him over. There are a bunch of others that you can check out on thepropqueen.com. You could subscribe, $8.99 for basic subscribers, $17.99 for premium, which gets you multiple newsletters a day. I do like Travis Etienne. I did bet him over his receiving yards early this week at 13.5. I don't like receptions solely because obviously the intent has to be there to get Etienne the ball multiple times, as opposed to something like 13.5 receiving yards. I feel like he could have 2 catches and get over that number. So I'd rather, on a lot of those situations, bet for distance on someone like an Etienne who can be explosive yards after the catch. Sometimes tight ends, I'd rather take receptions because tight ends they're a little slower a lot of the time. So if you feel like there is someone that doesn't get a lot of yards after catch, then sure, go with receptions. But someone like Etienne, he might not need 3. He could get 2. And I like going for yardage more than I like receptions. Again, just to summarize what we saw from John Murray, if you like to be on the side of the sports books, we actually did have today what I thought was, I'm going to go bet these unders now because John Murray needs 2 of the unders that Yanni the Greek just gave out. So John Murray said the public is heavy on the over in Cincinnati, Green Bay, and the over in Indianapolis and Arizona. Yanni, just to clarify, when the public is all over those, John Murray needs those unders. And it just so happened that Yanni the Greek came on and gave out Green Bay, Cincy under 45.5, and he gave out under 47 for Arizona, Indianapolis. He also, Yanni, gave out under 45.5, under 45 for Rams, Baltimore. The books need Baltimore. Sportsbook, the Westgate Superbook at the Westgate. John Murray says they need the Ravens big. Carolina's their number 1 need of the day. Baltimore's their number 2 need of the day. New Orleans number 3 need of the day. And in Major League Baseball for Game 1 tonight of the ALCS, the Superbook needs the Seattle Mariners to win as an away dog up against the A's Kevin Gossman for the Toronto Blue Jays. So those are the needs of the day. That's what I'm going to go bet is the under in the Cincy Green Bay game, the under in the Indianapolis Arizona game. I am not betting the Ravens, but I will root very heavily for them. I hope you all have a very profitable Sunday. It's week 6 of the NFL. It's the ALCS tonight. Thank you for everyone tuning in here on WagerTalk Last Call. I'm the prop queen, Ariel Epstein. We will see you next week here on Last Call. Good luck.